Once again, welcome back to Plot. Okay, right. Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, welcome back with Plot. I know it's been a while, but as I say, this year has been too grand for us. I've been concentrating on getting myself back to full health over the last few months, and I feel I'm just about there now. I'm not doing as much as what I used to. I'm down to about an hour a day, but I find if I can get as much done in that hour between here, the home back garden, and the allotment on the plot, we're doing okay. At the moment, everything's fine. I've got a little bit of weeding to do with the garden. I've took a few photographs of the main parts of the plot this afternoon, which I'll be posting online tonight in preparation for the video going out tomorrow. I'm hoping to get the video out tomorrow anyway. As I say, I'm just starting today. It's been an absolutely cracking day up here northeast. A little bit cloud, a little bit of rain this morning, but it's clear up there, lovely. And as I say, the sun's just out now in the afternoon here. Well, it's tea time now. It's absolutely beautiful. If you remember, in late spring when I was showing you the grapevine, this is the outdoor one. I'll post a couple of pics of the ones that's on the inside of the polytunnel, but that's an absolute mess. It's absolutely grown everywhere, and that's the trouble with the grapevine. If you let it get out of control, it's a monster once it gets a hold. So I'm going to spend a good few afternoons over the next couple of weeks, or the next few days I should say, just clipping it right back as far back as I can. Take as many bunches off as you can, as many side shoots. Once you get it under control, they're great. If you remember in the springtime, I was trying to show you how from the main rod and taking the side shoots out and using side shoots as rods. From the main rod here, and we've got side shoots here, side shoots there, and there's the new ones coming up, taken off, and these will be bent down and trained along the top there. So we'll end up with 4 and 4. We'll end up with 8 side shoots coming from the main rod, which will in turn turn into rods, and then we'll take the side shoots off there with a bunch of grapes on. What we've done this year, this is one side that wind's starting to pick up a little bit. This is one side that I've already trained down. As you can see, I've selected just enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 side shoots off the main rod, and I've left each side shoot, as you can see there, with a small bunch of grapes, and then cut from the bunch of grapes to the second leaf up and prune it off. And that's them there. That's one side that's done. This side hasn't been touched yet, as you can see. That's a right hot. But what we'll do is we'll clip into that, and of course there is some side shoots coming away there that I want to cut out. You'll find all the way up the vine, you'll find shoots coming up, and if you don't need them or you don't want them, then the easiest thing to do is just cut them out. Now I'll work my way around here. There's the one at the front here that can come out, take it right back. Little ones on the side, put them out. Another one there, another little side shoot there, put them right back because you don't need them. Now that one here, this rod is died back. So what I'm going to do is this side shoot that's coming out here, I'm going to leave that. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one. And I'm going to take this rod out from here, just cut that back from there. It's a solid one, that. I have to take all the tyres off. And then I've got that new one to go in there and replace that. Quite an easy job to do. Next year what we'll have this one, this rod here will be full of vines, full of grapes, and this rod here will be full of grapes, and the same on the other side. And then next year again we'll build up to the top one, and within 4 years what we'll have is a stack, a 4-tier stack of canes, main rod, side branches, all in full flower, and producing a good 30 to 40 bunches on just a small vine like that. Quite an easy job to do. it's not difficult. I'll show you in more detail when we get up the plot, and I'll start putting back that main vine up there. But really the beauty is that you're spacing your side shoots out. Just make sure you leave one bunch. There's some lovely bunches on there, and this is an outside vine. Lovely little bunches on there. One bunch per head, and they'll grow away fine. The one we're going to have to do later on in the year is because this is outside. We're going to have to put a bit of a framework up here on the top and put some chicken mesh over it, because we'll have the grey squirrels in the back now, and I'm sure they'll be over the moon with me growing grapes. They'll be straight down and feasting on them, and they'll not be leaving any for us. So we'll sort out some sort of a frame, rig that up later on in the year, and then we'll cover the vine up. Just make sure your vine's well watered. I've got mine in an old recycling box, but what I have done, I've drilled holes in the bottom of the box so the roots can go through the holes and into the subsoil down below, so that they're getting plenty of feed. You can scrape away the top of the compost if it gets too full, your box. Scrape away the top 2 or 3 inches and replenish that every year, as long as they get plenty of feed. Once your fruit's set, a good potash feed, tomato feed, anything like that, comfrey what I use. Of course I'll be showing you the stinky barrel once we do get at the plot. But for this first video, as I say, I wanted to get on home, the back greenhouse, sort the grapevine out, and then the main video for next week, we're going to get cracking up the plot. I've got seeds to sow. I want to try a few new ideas for next season coming up. Onions and whatnot. I haven't planted any onions this year, any seed onions, but what I'm going to do, I've managed to get myself a little indoor tent which I'll be placing in the greenhouse with a little heat mat and a little light in, and hopefully that'll cut my bills down next year, and I can just sow my onions in. The onions have been there for about 6 weeks. I'll probably set them off in about February, and by the March time when they're ready to come out, we should have enough light and that little bit of heat of the heat bench which will keep them growing on, and that'll be fine for me for next year. But we'll go through all that later on. I just wanted to give us a good watering tonight. I want to clip it back so both sides are equal. I'll get that done in 5 minutes, and then we'll pop it in the greenhouse and we'll finish the video off in here. Okay? Right, it's absolutely baking in here. What a beautiful afternoon. But the greenhouse, well, here we are. It's just at the end of the year, or at the beginning of the year, I showed you starting my tomatoes off and whatnot. I never grew as much as what I normally do. I've been trying to pace myself and cut what I grew down. My tomatoes, one of the main things I like to grow. I've got these set away in March with just a little bit of bottom heat under my cable, my heating bench, and that's all I used this year. I set them away in March, potted them off, and then I placed them into these pots here, and these pots are into grow bags. There's 3 in a grow bag. They're not the standard I usually like to see, but for what I normally do is put them in big black flower pots with tomatoes with my own pot mix. But that was a lot of work. I mean, making big mixes up the plot, carrying them down by trolley down home. But I thought for this year I'll give it a miss, and what I did do, I just bought some grow bags. I'm not a great fan of grow bags, but they're in grow bags. Keeping them well watered every night, and of course I'm getting a decent enough crop. These are of course Shirley, the tomato Shirley. I've cut myself down to 5 varieties this year. I've got the Money Maker, I've got Gardener's Delight, I've got the Spanish, and I've got my Shirley down here. Quite a few different varieties on the market. There's a tomato for everybody, whatever you like, from cherry to medium to large, different coloured, chocolate. There's all sorts, stripy, but you get a tomato that you're happy with and you like to taste them, and quite easy. Every tomato is more or less the same. It can be a difficult crop if you go about it the wrong way, but once again we'll be starting a seed sowing in a fortnight's time. I've got my first seeds this morning arrived from DT Brown. I've got my Kelsey onions for next year. I've got my my Brompton stock, I've got my Bellis Daisy, my Delphiniums, I've got all them, sent away for them and they've all come this morning. So I'll be doing a lot of seed sowing next week for the autumn and spring flowers. And of course what I want to do is start off me next year's brassicas. There's some great brassicas in the market. I've had a fantastic crop this year, so I was really pleased with them. And what I did at the beginning of the year, I think I showed you on one of my last videos, I was going to grow them in cups, and I've had a fantastic result from them. So what I'm going to do with the autumn ones, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to seed sow it like I normally do in seed trays, and then I'm going to pot them off into cups, and then I'm going to transplant them from the cups into the garden. Now these are nice big paper cups, and we had a few little bits of lads texting and on our emails and on our Facebook accounts saying that the cups might be a little bit difficult to degrade in the soil, with them being some of them having like a heat wrapping on. But I found that no problem at all. They were in the water, they were in trays, sitting in trays, and of course I like to water the trays. The water was soaking up through the cardboard all the time, and by the time I did come to plant them out, it was mushy, and all I had to do was peel away the bottom to let the roots get out, and then plant them straight into the soil. And of course there was no disturbance whatsoever, any disease in the soil, I couldn't get to the root ball. So I've got a first class crop of sprouts that are growing great. I've been broccoli, I've been cutting the broccoli the last couple of weeks, some lovely broccoli. I've got summer cabbage here coming to the point of fruiting, and I've got my winter cabbage, and I've got the red cabbage. Absolutely fantastic. Now what I'm going to be sowing next week is spring broccoli, petal flowering, and of course the winter cauliflowers. I'll get them in, but I'm going to do them exactly the same way. Timing's everything, like, as you know. I'll probably sow them next week, so that's a couple of weeks. There'll be 2-3 weeks in the tray, which is going to take us to nearly the middle of the end of July, and then into the cups, and then going to be 4 weeks in the cups, so that's going to take us right up into August, which is perfect for tatties coming out, and then cabbages going in. What I might do is in the old greenhouse that we're going to take down this year, I might sow some of them in there, and I'm also going to try, we'll speak a bit later about this subject, about the onions. There's a lot of people having diseased onions this year, so I'm going to try a few in cups, and I'm going to plant them exactly the same way. I know it maybe sound a lot of work to some people, but if it stops you getting the white rot or this new disease that's going up around the allium family, it's worth a try. But we'll talk all that later on. This purpose of this video tonight was just to let people know that I'm back online. I'm feeling much better now. And I'm hoping to get a video out, if not weekly, certainly be fortnightly. We've got lots of work to do. We've got some great ideas, and we're going to keep on sharing with all yous that's been inquiring over the last few months what's been going on. Me and Roger's still up the plot, we're still working hard. As I say, we don't get as much done as what we used to do, but we're there, and we're keeping the garden ship shape. Well, Joe McKenzie posted online the other night, and he was showing his crop of Akron tomatoes. Well, Joe, once again, thanks for posting on the plot. I remember speaking to you last year about exactly the same thing, and I had said to you, where do you get the seed from? Of course, you told us. And I had promised myself this year to try them, but like everything else, everything's been put on the back burner until I get myself fit again. But what I will do, Joe, I will be trying them next year. I'll be trying the Akron tomatoes, as you say, and they look fantastic crop, an early crop, so we'll give them a good try. As I say, I like to try something different every year. With tomatoes, you know, it's an easy thing to do. It's an easy crop if you look after them. Well watered, keep them nice and clean. The main thing is when they're seedlings, keep them nice and clean when they're seedlings, because too much water, too damp, too cold, and there's a myriad of diseases that they'll get, you know, by dampening off, blight, anything. So if you just keep a nice, clean crop, well watered, plenty of fresh air in your greenhouse. So I always say, even in the winter, I like to open the door, let the fresh air through. Like today, the door's wide open, the vent's open, and it's just drawing in that air, letting some nice fresh air through. What I like to do is I like to keep the base of the tomato really nice and clean. That's taking all the leaves off. As long as you keep the leaves on the top, as long as they've got plenty of growth up ahead, plenty of green leaf, of course, photosynthesis for your plants. Your plants are taking all the goodness through the leaves, all the sunshine, you know, all that light, and creating energy into your crops. So as long as you've got plenty of leaves on the top, I like to keep the bottom stem up to the first truss really nice and clean. And of course, this time of the year, there's a first class crop of tomatoes on there. But what you normally get, if you see some of them, you normally get some little immature tomatoes on that bunch. And all I do is I go around with a pair of scissors or a pair of secateurs and just knock them off. And there we have it, that truss of first class, 6 nice, beautiful tomatoes on there. That one's not too bad, that one's starting to grow, but there's a couple of little flowers in there that might try and turn into fruit, so that's another good truss. That's perfect, that one there, but there's that truss there, but there's a wee tiny little tomato there just sitting in there. Nip them out. And there's a first class six truss there again. You just work your way along. I like to do all the first truss, and as I work my way up, if I do find any that's little, just nip them off. They're not going to do any good. They're just taking the goodness out of the plant. The tomatoes that's set, that's a really good size. That's all you want. There's a first class group of 4 at the back there, and there's a couple of little tomatoes just at the side where I'll nip them off later on. Work my way around. I've got some lovely cucumbers on there. I think I'll have that off for tea later on. I'll just show you that one. I see there some really nice cucumbers. We've had some good crops this year. I can't complain. As I say, with brassicas and that, the peaches have been absolutely marvellous. We've had loads of peaches off the last couple of weeks. Our fruit's done really well for setting. The pear tree, the apple tree, the plum tree, they're all in fruit. There's plenty of fruit in them, so come autumn time, I'm sure we'll have some great crops. Raspberries are doing really well. The strawberries have been a little bit poor this year, but what I was wanting to do was to create a bed, and I never got round to it. Was to create an outdoor bed. I've still got some strawberries in pots up there, so what I'm thinking about doing, excuse me, is when I pull the old greenhouse down, the 100-footer, and I leave the bed inside, I might use the bed, just put some sort of a cage over it, put the outside strawberries in there, and create a permanent bed for them. But that's something we're going to work on over the next couple of months, once we get ourselves back to full fitness, and we can see where we're going from there. We've got a few jobs to do what we haven't getting done for the last years. I've been trying to split that rhubarb bed for the last 5 years, but I've had injury after injury, and as I say, sickness and whatnot. I've just never been able to get round with it. But I'm determined to get myself pulled right for this winter, and as I say, we've got a few big jobs to do. I've got a couple of roofs, not myself, but my sons will come up and help us recover them. I've got the big polytunnel to recover. We're hopefully going to get that done next week, and then we can get the last of our peppers and our chilies planted out. We've still got some early potatoes to take out of there. We've had a fantastic crop of potatoes this year. They've been absolutely marvellous. The Swift and the Rocket. We've had the 2 early potatoes that were planted. They come out. And we've still got a full trench in one of the polytunnels. So hopefully I'll show you next week, in next week's vid, when we get up there. I'll probably dig a plant up and just show you what sort of crop we've had. We've also planted some in boxes on the back bench, but once they come out, that bench is coming down, so I've got a clear pathway all the way down to the bottom of the polytunnels, which I've been trying to do for years. We had that bench put up, but in hindsight, when I take the greenhouse down, I can build new benches there, and I can have myself a nice clear pathway that I can get a barra from the top of the garden right to the bottom of the garden without having to jiggle around, going in and out little pathways here, there and everywhere. Just nice straight pathway from the top of the garden right to the bottom, especially for manure and stuff like that. So that's a job for middle of the winter season. You can see the rhubarbs to be done, that bench is to be taken down, the greenhouse to be taken down, the list and list, but no doubt we'll get there. I've been busy concentrating on my back garden for the last couple of weeks, all with baskets and all hanging out, waves over the moon. It's lovely out here. The new fence is up. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. That's a 6-foot fence I built middle of last year, and that's when I took part after building that concrete and posting that in. I keep telling myself I'm still 26, but unfortunately my brain's willing, but my body isn't. So I've just got to take heed, just take my time, a bit each day. Thanks for all the people inquiring about us anyway. It's great to see that you're still online. I've had a bit of bother on the Facebook page, as you know. I've got a load of spammers on there, and I'm busy still trying to get that sorted out. I have opened up a new account. It's Jeff Foreman, on the plot with Jeff Foreman, and it's a private account. So if you watch out for that one, I'll try and get I'll try and post a web page up for it in the next couple of weeks, and then you can follow us on there. I'm still pretty active over the night time. As I say, I've took a few photographs today up the plot. I'll be posting them online tonight. I don't think I'll get this video up tonight, but I'll see what I can get done. If I can get it all tidied up and finished off, and then I'll certainly get it online tomorrow night for us, middle of the week, and then by next weekend we're ready to crack on. I've got my seeds, I've got my compost all ready, I've got my trays ready, all cleaned down, and we'll start doing some planting. Don't forget to get your sprays ready, because you know me, I use all manner of different sprays and feeds. I'll show you the stinky barrel. I know Julian had posted online the other week about the nettle juice. He had been making some, but I'll definitely be getting my barrel sorted out. It's absolutely honking up there on the allotment, and of course I have a mixture of nettles, comfrey, and all the tomato cuttings, all the side shoots and leaves that I take off. That all goes in the barrel, all rots down, and give it a good stir, and it's a fantastic. It's more like a soup than a juice. But I'll show you that when we get at the plot. As I say, tonight's just a little intro to tell you that we're still here, we're still in the plot, and we'll be getting back to normal soon. So I'm going to knock off, get upstairs, see if I can get this online, and post these few pics that I've been doing over the last couple of days. Okay, so hopefully I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.